afternoon, everyone. We want to welcome you to our first webinar of the year. We will be having monthly webinars. It will be the same date, the first Wednesday of every month. Again, my name is Marie Sturgell. I'm the newly elected president for Associated Real Property Brokers. And Ria Cotton is the third vice president, and she's going to be instituting the webinars, and she will be the facilitator of the education component. So we just want to welcome you, and I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Ria Cotton now.
Okay, thank you, Marie, and thank you all for joining. I'm really excited that we're able to start these webinars early in the year. And so the purpose of the webinars, in addition to our marketing meetings and our lunch and learns that we have, is to basically support our real estate and broker business as well as our affiliates. And so to share what information that can be provided within our association to help you develop your business throughout the year. And so this being our first webinar, we want to talk about the NAREB benefits, so the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and what benefits are provided through membership, because that's important. And there's a lot of information that there's a wealth of information out there, and we're not always aware. And so this is to bring your attention to what benefits you have with our association. And so I'm happy to announce also that we do have a new website, and the website has launched. Our website address is ARPBOaklandRealtist.com. And so there'll be, I'm sure, announcement via email as well as Facebook. So be sure to check out our website. It's new and improved. It looks great. I checked it out this morning. I think you guys will really be excited about what's coming this year with our organization. Also, tomorrow, don't forget, our installation is tomorrow, February 7th, 2019 at Eve's Waterfront. It starts at 11:30 a.m. and tickets are selling fast. So if you have not purchased your ticket, be sure to do that online today. We're really excited. I'm excited to be the newly elected third vice president, and hopefully I'll get great suggestions from everyone on what I can do to make our organization great this year. So in addition to that, let's see, we have our lunch and learns, and our webinar topics will kind of try to bounce off of our lunch and learns. So our lunch and learns are every month as well. So be sure to look at the new website for the lunch and learn dates. But hopefully I plan to support the education that's provided on the lunch and learns with the information on the webinars, and hopefully we can have that work hand in hand. We had our first lunch and learn in January, led by Shaniqua Badger, which was awesome. We talked about business plans and accountability. And we have our accountability teams. Hopefully everybody's checking in with their accountability teams and keeping up with their goals. But it's great that we're working with one another to support one another in our business. And we have a lot of events. We have Realtist Week coming up, so check that out, April 6th through the 13th. Midwinter. So I attended Midwinter last year. The Midwinter Conference, you get to meet Realtist nationally, which is an amazing experience, as well as our annual convention, which is July 28th through August 2nd, coming to Atlantic City. So I'm excited about that as well. I've never been to Atlantic City. So much information, and that's why we're doing this webinar, so that we can provide you, we'll have a recording, you can play it back, like what dates, what did I miss? So you'll have the website, you'll have the webinars, all to recap the great information that we'll provide this year. With that, I just want to, we're going to touch on some of the NAREB benefits, but I want to introduce Steve Peterson, our past president, and he also is in our commercial division. And so, Steve, would you like to introduce yourself and share with us all the things that we can gain through our membership?
Thank you, Ria. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Marie. Really excited to see you installed tomorrow. This is Associated Real Property Brokers. So my name is Steve Peterson, broker owner of Infinity Investments. I was the president of this great organization, Associated Real Property Brokers, from 2015 to 2016. I had to think about it. Right. I just came off being the president of CAREB, which is our state board. That stands for California Association of Real Estate Brokers. I did 17 and 18. So I just came off of that. And now the marvelous, the beautiful, the great Linnell Holden is the president of CAREB. And so my new role in NARAB, in the Realtist world, is that I'm the president of CID, which is a NARAB affiliate. And what that stands for is the Commercial Investment Division. Yes, we do have a commercial investment division, and we're hoping to spur more growth and education in that space. So I'm taking on that role this year, and stay tuned for more information about that. But just wanted to talk a little bit about the value that your membership in the Realtist family brings. And so just a quick structure, Ria talked about NARAB, and NARAB is our national brand, if you will. That's our national structure. So anytime you're a member of any of the local boards of the Realtist, you are a member of the national board. Very similar to the structure of the Realtors. There's a local board. California, there's a state board. In the Realtist family, there's only 5 state boards, 5 states that are big enough to have boards. So in California, you're a local board member that would be Associated Real Property Broker. Then you would be a state board member of CAREB. But also ultimately that makes you a NARAB member in the Realtist, right? So that's just a little bit about the structure of what we're all about. And I got some more things to go down into the detail. You want me to kind of go into the details of what I think the membership value is right now? Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, definitely.
First thing, there's some specifics about the websites and some resources you can go into. Before I go into all of that, NARAB and the Realtist, this is a family. This is, it's kind of, I've heard people say it's kind of like a fraternity or sorority, if you will, in the real estate business. When you go to a national event, Ria just talked about our midwinter. Now, our midwinter is coming up in Miami. Pretty nice place to be in February. I know a lot of people, it's cold in the Bay Area. It's real cold in the Midwest and the East Coast. Really throughout the country, but Miami's a nice place to be. When you go to one of these events, I went to my first national event in 2014 in Vegas. What instantly stood out to me was the connections that I was able to make with my fellow realtors, because we're all in this real estate struggle, right? And sometimes real estate, even if you're a part of a team or a big office, sometimes it's like a lone wolf. Sometimes I don't know exactly how to explain that. And when you go across the country and you meet people who talk in the same language as you from a real estate perspective, have some of the similar backgrounds and experience, and people that are committed to democracy and housing, particularly for the Black community, that creates like an instant bond. You know what I mean? It's something that I had really, I never was a part of a fraternity when I was in college. You know, I'm from Oakland, man. So when I went to school, there was my fraternity, and I was like, man, you got to go through all of this. And I seen some of my partners going through the line of fraternities, and they was going through that. And I was like, I ain't going through all that. You know what I'm saying? For all my negative perceptions of it, maybe that probably would have been a great thing because of the relationships you build through fraternities. Right. So, but when I got to this Realtist family, and the relationships I've built have been probably worth more than anything else. Now, that being said, specifically from a business standpoint, we have a lot to offer. Outside of a lot of times people who are, we're all realtors, right? You have to be a realtor in order to conduct business pretty much. So a lot of times people, why am I paying more fees, more dues, and all of this? What do I actually get out of that? So going into transitioning into the business realm of things. And before I go into the website and some of the resources that are available to you, what there is, I'll give you an example. I'm listing a property in Oakland. I'll put it on the market, very popular property, right? And so we have this whole theme of democracy housing, and we're backing that up with our 2 and 5 initiative, 2 million additional Black homeowners in 5 years. That was started by Ryan Cooper, our immediate past president of NARAB in 2016. So we have this push for Black home ownership. And so what we do a lot of times is right when we get our listings, it takes time to prepare a listing for the market, especially commercial or multifamily properties, because you got to get the financials, you got to get the leases, you got to, prepare a marketing package. So what we like to do is we like to get the word out. We like to get the word on the streets, if you will. And we have at ARPB, at least, we have a monthly marketing breakfast. So at these monthly marketing breakfasts, we are going to have an excellent speaker to speak on a topic. But what we're also going to do is we're going to have a session of haves and wants. Who's got a listing? Who's got a buyer?
Yes.
This is very, very important, y'all, because this is an opportunity for people to find out about properties before they hit the market.
Right.
All right. And it's not like people are concealing their deals or this, and that. But what happens is a lot of times as an agent, you know, or you have something you're working on, and hopefully you got a listing agreement signed, but you have something that you're working on to bring to market. And invariably, every single month, there's a property that is presented right before it goes on the market. And that just gives you a headshot, doesn't give you an unfair advantage, but it gives you a headshot. And in fact, it helps to level the playing field on this very competitive real estate market, particularly in the Bay Area. And we have, it's just more people, more capital than are available properties. So if we're talking about Black home ownership and Black property ownership, building Black wealth, then we've got to do something to level the playing field. So that's one thing that is really, really important that we kind of value. And I think it goes back to when this organization was started. You know, NAREB was started in 1947. Blacks were not able to join the realtors in those days. So what that means is, well, it meant a lot of things, but particularly in real estate, we didn't have access to the book of list of properties. So when back in the day, before they had the internet, of course, properties were all in a book, and you would register. If you have a property for sale, you would go register in that book. So in the 40s, you know, that's how properties, you had something to sell or you were looking for something to buy, that's how it was done. Well, we didn't have access to that, right? So we had to create our own network, if you will. And so it goes back to those days. And fast forward to 2019, it's ever more important because of all the competitiveness, because of all the cash buyers. If we want to help our people get into properties, we've got to do things to give them a leg up and level the playing field. So our marketing breakfasts are very, very important, primarily for that reason. There's also education that you're going to get. And with our team that we have, and I just want to acknowledge for a minute President Clark, who is going to be going out of office tomorrow. She's done a great job in the last couple of years because what she's been able to do is really get the organization organized. You know, when I was a president, I was a good speaker. I would get, people riled up, but I was not good at organizational skills. President Clark is a master at those things, and really seen the progress in the membership. So if we're talking about value, as this organization grows, and it has grown tremendously, not just in numbers, but also, as you see, we just talked about, well, first of all, we're doing these webinars. It's a new website. And if you've been tapped into the emails we've been sending out last year or so, it's going from here to there. So the level of professionalism that she's brought, her leadership and the team, has really, really expanded what's going on at ARPB. So that helps the practitioner, if you're a broker, your agent, mortgage professional, insurance, whatever aspect of the business you serve in, when you come and you network with us at a breakfast or one of the lunch and learns or one of the mixers or whatever, now you're operating or you're connecting with people who are not just down for the cause, but are operating at a higher level, because they're following the direction of leadership that has things organized. So she's done an amazing job at that. And then also, I think, developing a strong team to come up behind her. So those are some of the, I don't want to say intangibles, but some of the things that I see probably as most valuable, the relationships you build, and then the access to the network that we have, and developing those connections as it relates to business development. And if we're talking about, which we are, as realtors, we are totally about Black folks and Black home ownership, not just home ownership, but property ownership and investment properties, building wealth. We always have somebody come in every year talk about financial planning. I think the next lunch and learn is about taxes.
Correct.
So we're looking at the whole, sphere of wealth building, really. And so when you're tapped into a network, or when you're tapped into a team of like-minded people that have similar thoughts, beliefs, visions for a cause, for the Black community, now that's going to help you to produce more in particular. Mm-hmm. Also, now I'm going to get into some of the specifics, and I'll shut up. But we have a lot of resources. Right. I know, Ria, did you want to go over some of those particular resources that we have, or you want me to kind of chip into them? Because there's some specifics that we want you to be tapped into within the Associated Real Property Brokers, within the CAREB, California Association of Real Estate Brokers, and the NAREB structure of things.
Okay. So, no, I just wanted to mention some things that are online and then have you tap into the importance of them and how it relates to our organization. So the first thing is that we have a NAREB store. And so on the NAREB store, we have discounts for printing our presentation brochures. I know I can definitely attest to what Steve said, that as an independent broker, I do consider ARPB my team, my family. Even though we work for different companies, I definitely consider this my team. And so in working to build as an independent broker, I want to be as professional as the big guys, right? And so I've been working to develop presentation folders and more professional material, and went on the NAREB website and saw that we actually have a store where we get discounts on marketing materials, prints, posters, banners. So definitely check out the NAREB store. But I wanted you to touch on the Sheba report. So and the importance of that, because we are talking about home ownership in Black America, and it's important to have this organization and these reports to basically understand where we are and what we have to strive for. Do you want to touch on the Sheba report?
Absolutely. And so if you don't know what Sheba stands for, State of Housing in Black America. Sheba, State of Housing in Black America. We first had a meeting in Oakland, I want to say, 2014.
That's when Ryan Cooper.
Yeah, that's when Ryan was just getting ready to come in. And we had this Sheba report. And I remember the report goes, it's a very detailed report, stats and figures about where we are as it relates to housing, the home ownership rates throughout the country, and other facts and figures, the wealth gap, the importance of home ownership as it relates to people's wealth. So the report is very, very detailed. I think you can download a copy of the report if you go to www.nareb.com/Sheba
-report.
So,
I want to chime in on that and the importance of that, because we go to the Congressional Black Caucus every year that's held in September, and we have a session that is dedicated to just the state of housing in Black America. So the things that we do centered around that's on the front line to change policies is going to help us to increase Black home ownership, because right now the home ownership rate is at the lowest that it has been since World War II, which is hovering around 41.9%. And so we need to educate our community. And so the Sheba report is the way that we work with our policy and decision makers to make change that's going to help the communities that we serve.
Very well said.
Right. And so also on the NAREB website, there is a page where we have all of our chapters throughout the nation. And so, Steve, can you just touch on how important it is to partner nationally with our chapter members?
No, I'll give you a couple of examples of that right now. And, you want to, because what happens is all of us have family, friends, associates who are in other areas of the country or other areas of our state who want to do some kind of real estate business. And people generally want to do business with you because they know you, they like you, they trust you, right? So if somebody in Atlanta, they call you, hey, cuz, I want to do some business, but you're in Oakland, there's a disparity there. But through our network of realtors throughout the country, you can go to the website and find a realtors, or, if you're tapped in, just through your personal network of working with a realtors, you can refer somebody to an area. Say, oh, work with such and such. We met at the conference. We talked. We got to develop a great relationship. Talk to them. That is critically important, and you can share referral fees that way. So it's not like you just giving the lead away and not getting nothing out of it. You can actually share referral fees in that capacity. I'll give you an example. I'm working on a deal right now in Houston, Texas, with the Realtist. One of my agents, parents had a 31-unit building out in Houston. I'm obviously in the Bay Area, so is my agent. But when they brought the deal to me, I said, oh, well, I know someone in Houston. Let me give her a call, see if we can make this thing work. So, we're actually doing a co-brokerage deal. Awesome. And that is a significant amount of business that we would, if I just called up some commercial broker in Texas, they'd be all right, thank you. I'll send you a thank you card when it closes. right?
Yes.
So we wouldn't get no financial value out of it. But then probably what's more important is that we know that a Realtist is handling it. So we know that the level of care and attention is going to be there.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And that same person, we referred a homeowner to them. They got a property sold for them. And it was a difficult transaction, and they put the care and attention on it. And so you can go to the website and find somebody, but if you go hang out with us,
Right.
come on out to Miami,
Right.
you know what I mean? Have some drinks, relax, go to some classes, and you're going to meet people. And you're just not going to meet people. You're going to meet top producers, because the top producers in the organizations, they're the ones spending the money, getting on a plane, want to hang out. They're part of the boards. They're usually part of leadership. These are the people you're going to meet at these conferences. These are the people you can do business with and help bridge the gap of get more Black folks in the properties, homes, and investment properties. And also, because we talk about getting folks in the homes, getting them in the properties, right? Here's another thing is our business as brokers, agents, and we need to get money too. So if we're brokering deals with other realtors, we're making money happen in the Black business community, which is also very important. So I just wanted to make sure I point that out.
Yes, the conventions are very important because it's great to put a face to a name and learn the person, their style, and you feel even more comfortable in referring business to them. So I definitely met a great amount of people at the convention and was able to build relationships that way. So I definitely agree. Now, you touched on the 2 Million in 5 initiative. There's also a link on the NAREB website that talks about our federal policy agenda. And so I think that's important because when you join an organization, a lot of people ask, well, what is your agenda? And so when you join our organization, you want to know you're on the same page as us, right? So the 2 million in 5, can you just touch on that? And people can find more information on the NAREB website under policy positions as well.
Well, particularly within that, just giving another shout out to President Ron Cooper out of LA, out of Consolidated Board of Realtors, which is the greatest board of the realtors in the nation. I know some other people in Houston, Atlanta might challenge that, but that's how we feel in California for sure. But Ron had this vision, and I think I don't know, but I know Ron was heavy into the Sheba report, and the 2 and 5 really is like a solution to some of what Marie just said. Is our home ownership rate is down at the lowest levels of World War II. Now that's the segregation times. And that times my family had migrated to California from Louisiana. And a lot of Blacks did migrate out of the South to California, to the North, other places seeking opportunity. And what was important to them is to own property. So they scraped together whatever pennies they could scrape together, utilize whatever programs they could to buy property. So for whatever reason, specifically in the last downturn, we lost more than anybody else. Everybody lost. Let's just be clear about that. But Black folks lost more than everybody else, right? And we've already had all this adversity coming at us in the history of this country. The last economic downturn, we lost the most amount of properties, probably by design. That's a whole other conversation. But we lost the most. So the 2 and 5 initiative really is a solution to get us back on track, to get the focus of home ownership back in the forefront. So Ron had this vision. He rolled it out in 2015, substantiated in 2016, that we can get 2 million additional Black homeowners. Now, this is all across the country, not just in California, of course, but all across the country within 5 years. And that's a pretty bold, goal. And so, but what it did was it kind of unified. It gave us a unifying concept, I think, throughout the country. So we all know that we've got this goal in mind, right? Our democracy and housing is what we stand for. But this was what gave us some unity surrounding that. So as a part of that, there's a few things that we got to tackle. Obviously, from a business development end, like what we just talked about, networking, and, leveling the playing field. But from a policy standpoint, NAREB's working on several things to help make sure that when properties get foreclosed, they get, make sure they're back available to the community, to make sure that credit, how we score credit is going to be different. And Ryan's really was big on that. Here's an example. Your credit card is reported to the credit bureaus, your car is, but if you're making your electric bill on time, your phone on time, every time, that's great. But it's not getting reported to the credit bureaus. So people who are, a lot of times people just don't have enough positive credit at all. And so those are some of the things that they're working on, but also with the way loans are written, the way loans are sold, with the way defaulted properties are distributed. Those are some of the things that when we're at the Black Caucus and we're doing things nationally, that we as a body, like the Realtors, you know, the Realtors have a very strong lobby, right, in Washington. So when the Realtors come up in there, they listen. Well, the Realtists have been a part of, we championed all the fair housing laws that were put on the books. We were a part of all of that in the civil rights movement, particularly the Run for That. That's stuff that we spearheaded, and we were all about that. So we got some strength up in Washington as well. So check out the website, check out what's next. Now, that's in Washington. We also in the state of California, we got some juice too. So we've been working through CAREB with the state legislatures over the last several years, you know, to help level the playing field in California. And we're working on developing a bill actually right now called the California Families First Housing Bill. And it's in this developmental stage. We've been working on it for a couple of years. We're wanting to bring this to fruition just to keep, when properties become foreclosed, a lot of times what we saw in the last downturn, if they went to vulture funds or hedge funds, they packed a lot of these properties never hit the market. And so we're just trying to make sure that the inventory is made available to homeowners in an equitable format. And so those are some of the things we're doing here in the state of California. Also, ARPB, now the ARPB is here. We're right here at City Hall right now. So from a policy level, you want to rock with us. And through your local board, Associated Real Property Brokers, through your state, California has a state board, Texas, Georgia, let's say Illinois, and I believe Ohio, Florida are the other states that have state boards. If you're in those states, be a part of that, but just know that we are fighting in Washington, and we swinging the big back when we fight for y'all. So be a part of that, and that's another thing that you have as a value in your realtors.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on what Steve is saying about the value, and if you look at what we do and what we've been doing since 1947. Being on the front line. So sometimes it might seem like when you say, well, what am I getting, or what are you not getting? I mean, if you are a real estate professional, a realtor, and you are working with Black homeowners, then you have to look back to see now who were the people before me that set the tone so that I can do what I can do, and that all that we do, if you just go to the NARAB website and see the host of what we do, centered around specifically the communities that we serve in helping achieve more Blacks into homes. That's what we're all about. We're about collaborating together, coming together. That's what we do. That's why Associated Real Property Brokers is here to help foster, to help you grow your business. And that's why when we do have our monthly networking breakfast meetings and those synergy there, and if you got a property or you have a listing, those things are going to be so key, because if we're not putting Black people into homes in the future, what is the real estate going to look like for us as Black professionals if we are not working together to increase home ownership?
Exactly. And so that's a great segue into the last point that we'll make, which is about working with our affiliates and finding out who else besides us as real estate professionals have an invested interest in the Black community, and our affiliate members to actually learn what does it take, how to work effectively with our community so that we are building wealth. And so before we get into affiliates, I wanted to touch on the affinity partners. So there's affinity partners that provide discounts. So with a lot of different memberships, just with ours as well, you get discounts for bread and breakfast, rental cars. So definitely check out the affinity partners. One thing I also found out about is the NARAB University. So the NARAB University actually provides real estate courses at a discounted rate. And so I get the question all the time, I want to get my real estate license, where do I go? for my classes. And now I know where they will go and where I will direct them, which is the NARAB University. So now I want to get on to our last point, which is the affiliate partnership. So we have various different affiliate partners, and it's very important for us, like I said before, to support our affiliate partners because they are showing us as becoming partners and joining our membership that they care about the same things that we care about. And so, Steve, being that you're in the commercial division, you want to also touch on that and how we work together?
Absolutely. Thank you. And affiliates are a big part of our organization because it helps people to get a specific or specialty or practice within the business. And it's always, a lot of times we're generalists in the business because that's what it means to keep a roof over your head. You got to close this kind of a deal, that kind of deal. But it really, if you want to break through to the next level, you have to specialize or be an expert in something. And so our affiliates allows us to be able to do that and be able to serve in different ways as well. So the commercial investment division, which is the affiliate that I'm going to be now the president of, is particularly designed for education in commercial real estate space. Also, one thing we're going to be doing this year is focusing on deal making throughout the country. As we know, commercial real estate apartment buildings are a big part of commercial real estate. Apartment buildings are a big part of housing throughout the country and are a bridge to home ownership. And so what we want to be doing is, part of what we want to do is educate people on how to buy properties, particularly our apartment buildings, and other commercial properties, because commercial properties like an office building or retail building also house people, but they house businesses. And so if we can spur more people to invest in commercial properties, buy commercial properties, lease them out to businesses in the community, then we can just circulate our dollar better. But that's CID. That's just one of them. Another one of them that is particularly in commercial real estate is United Developers Council, UDC. So that is for people who wanted to get into the development business, which is very similar to commercial real estate. I mean, it is commercial real estate, but development's a different animal, right? And particularly, they have some great courses on breaking into low-income tax credit and affordable housing tax credit, which is a very complex business, a very complex process, but they have experts who built thousands of units teaching classes and kind of walking you through the steps. So that's another great affiliate. I will leave you guys to talk about Women's Council and all the great things that Women's Council is doing. But then also RIMB, which is the property,
property management.
The property management piece. Do you know what RIMB stands for? I'm sorry, I should know this. I think it's
real estate management division.
It's like a real estate management
institute. The Institute Management Division, RIMB.
Wiley Stearns is up listening to this webinar. You put me in the headline and tell me, young man, you got to get that right.
Okay.
But property management is another huge expertise that we need more Black folks to be a part of. So we have the solution if you want to learn that business, you want to break into that business. And there's a big variety of different affiliates. And it just allows you to have your niche, to be able to get some specified information and network. And why don't y'all talk a little bit about the Great Women's Council?
Okay, I was just looking up the RIMB, but yes, so I am happy to be treasurer of Women's Council of Associated Real Property Brokers, and we are really like the boots on the ground. So where we have the larger scale of NARAB and ARPB, that's legislative, the affiliates of Women's Council, we are out doing the boots on the ground work, and so we are really focused this year on monthly financial literacy seminars, as well as home ownership seminars. And so one thing what we've decided to do and really focus on this year is really partner with the other affiliates that are associated with ARPB, so that when we are providing these home ownership seminars, we're actually providing them also with their HUD certificate that is crucial or required for them to actually get their down payment assistance. So we don't want to just go out and educate, which is a great thing, but we also want to provide value. So we don't want to have them take the homeownership classes twice. And so we're partnering, and hopefully that will also expand our ARPB membership through partnering with these organizations throughout our community that provide these certificates. as well as getting into the schools. And so we've started partnering with organizations that already have their foot in the door with a lot of our elementary and high schools. And we're going in and doing financial literacy seminars or workshops, or just a class session on banking, how to start a bank account. I just went to a charter school in Oakland just recently and did one of those classes. There were maybe 2 people in the class that actually had a checking account. And it was just really inspiring to actually feel like I've given them some type of value that they can take out from senior year and going into real everyday life, and knowing like these are some of the things that I need to start thinking about that I haven't thought about in the past. So I'm really excited about what Women's Council has going on this year.
And that everyone that is a member of Associated Real Property Brokers is also a member of Women's Council. So that's the
Correct.
great thing about that.
Right.
And so that you'll start to see more from Women's Council, or you can get involved, help them, like they are the boots on the ground with the financial literacy, the home buying workshops. Come out and get involved and be involved with the home buying workshops. And then Ria tapped on, we do have a HUD certified, which is under NID, which stands for NARAB Institute Division, which is the headquarters is here in Oakland. It's rolled out by Mr. Ray Carlisle Sr. And so you can get your HUD certified certificate, your buyers can. So that's huge. And NID just got one of the largest grant from Ben Carson, believe it or not. You can go onto the site and read about it. It's a press release and everything. So NID is doing a fantastic job of bringing the home buying certified classes. So if you go onto the site, you can read up more about that. If you just go onto NARAB's site and see all of the value that comes down, it starts top and then it breaks it down to the local level. Now, as incoming president, we have a national call every month, the local chapter presidents from all across the U.S. And so they bring us information, tools that we in return bring to you as members and potential members, so that what you see now that we're rolling out with our new website, all of these things, the value added that we're doing with the webinars, the monthly breakfast week, we're going to be doing the Realtist week, we're going to be rolling out the tool technology. That's going to be something that we're bringing out as well. Our lending partners, how we're getting some new ideas with them. So come Juneteenth, we're going to be having something that's centered around the community. So we want to be more out in the community. And then, of course, we have our faith base that we're going to be rolling out. That's really something strong that we're working with. We're working with the churches because we know that the churches are, in the past, we've always had a great synergy in our churches, so we are definitely going to be rolling that out actually in the midwinter conference in Miami. They're going to have a session specifically dedicated just to how to work with the faith base, bringing them in. And so just stay tuned. We have a lot of great things that are coming out this year that's going to help increase the value and grow your business as well.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes.
Well said.
Yes. And so there's many other affiliates. We have our contractors division, real estate appraisers, and we can't forget about our young realtist division.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, I'm too old to be a young realtist.
Oh, no, don't let her tell you all that. Don't let her tell you.
I'm an OG, but Steve, you're under 40.
YRD really has exploded in the last couple of years, the young realtist division, and it's really our way of bringing in the millennial generation, which we know is going to carry the torch. Right. And we need that young energy. And the membership has just exploded, particularly out of LA, consolidated, but also branches open up here in the Bay Area, Sacramento, and I believe in Chicago. I believe they have opened up a branch in Chicago. And stay tuned, all throughout the country, we're going to be getting these branches opened up, so that young folks also have a place where their voices can be heard and they can network with each other. Because sometimes the young folk need to be around other young folk just to, just to keep the energies up and make sure that they're a part of it. So we know that they're the future. We know they need support, and we have a vehicle to bring them in and also to tap them in so that they have a strong voice and they're productive.
Yes, and I think that is also the importance of the members getting involved in Realtist Week that's coming up in April, because we're touching on all of that.
Right.
We'll be kicking it off with the prayer breakfast led by Women's Council. We'll also be having a pastor roundtable where we talk about elderly abuse and resources in the community. We'll be having a mixer so that the young realtists can get to know one another, and also bring in non-real estate professionals into the Young Realtist division, because there's a lot of technology and different innovations that are starting in our community that we may not be aware of, that the young people are bringing in. So we definitely want them to be a part of our organization as well. And then in addition to that, we'll be doing our Oakland District Stroll, so that we can, again, get more familiar with what's going on and what's new in the community. And we're inviting council members out to greet us right here at City Hall before we start. And we're going to roll through all the districts and see what's going on in our hood.
That's right. We'll slide through. You're going to see us on the streets.
And then we're going to end off with our Community Wealth Building Day. And
I'll just touch on that, which is, I mean, that's the big thing that we do. And that was actually instituted under Ron Cooper as well, the Community Wealth Building Days under our national. And so what we do is this year we're going to go to a church. We're going back to the church. That's right. And so that's where we have our greatest turnout and everything. So, but we're going to actually start to this year reach out to other nonprofits, invite them in, and so that we're all in this together, because see, the synergy is what we need, and we want to keep this going. So we're going to be inviting other nonprofits to come, and even I'm going to go out to Oakland A's, to the Warriors, just to have a table, and that brings in people. So we're going to do some things a little different. You're going to see that our Community Wealth Building Day is going to be a big turnout, and the church that we're going to be having is William Chapel Baptist Church, and he's very involved in the community and connected with all of the different, the city officials and everything, which that's what we need as well. And so we're looking forward to having a great turnout and hoping that you'll stay tuned. You'll start to see a lot of the information coming out for Realtist Week. Like Ria said, just get your caffeine, because we're going to have a whole week planned out. Everything is going to be great. And it's just going to continue to help us grow and to help us reach our target, which is to increase back home ownership. We're at a critical point that we have to increase our numbers. All of us have to do more than what we've been doing if we want to change and shift what's going on in our community. All of us.
Right. So it looks like we might have a couple of questions before we end, but I want to thank Steve and Marie for coming in on this first webinar of 2019 for our business development, and we'll be having more topics coming up to increase and enhance your business. So I just want to go and see if we can pull up these questions that may have come in. So we have Don Dunbar. He said, "This is great info, y'all, and thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your feedback." And then he said, "You're as young as you act. You are right. You are right.
That's right, Don.
You are right.
Said it right, man. Thank you.
You are right. And even though the young realtors, they have a lot of energy and they want to be together to start the new legacy, they also appreciate what the OGs have to offer.
That's right.
And the information. And they take it in, they appreciate it. So there's great things ahead. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, thank you guys for joining.
Thank you so
and
much. I want to thank the city of Oakland Mayor's office for letting us have this room. And we will be hosting our webinars here at City Hall free of charge. And so we want to appreciate that the value that the city of Oakland does have.
Yeah, maybe we'll grow to have a studio audience. So.
Yeah, that would be fast.
So I think we're going to be working on some things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And can I just before we log off, in honor of Black History, and this is Black History Month, and really every month should be Black History Month, but this is Black History Month. As we sit here in this City Hall, we stand on the shoulders of giants, the men and women who have come before us, who sacrificed their life sacrificed their livelihood, sacrificed a lot of things, and civil rights movements, and before and after that, being here in Oakland, all the Panthers, the history of the Panthers, political activists, all those people who said, you know what, I'm gonna stand up for the rights of Black folks, and it's not just Black folks. When we fight for our rights, we are fighting for everyone to have things be equal. And in this country, that's what it's supposed to be about. And so we're blessed to be sitting here. And we're blessed to have this great organization to have, because it was 12 individuals who said, you know what, we're gonna start this NARAB because this is enough, and we're gonna move forward. And you know, and all the folks that have done things like that for us to be here, let's not take that lightly, and their sacrifice of what they did for us, and let's take it where we are now, everything that we got negatively against us, but let's come together, mount up, and bridge the wealth gap by accomplishing our goal of 2 million additional Black homeowners, property owners in 5 years. Let's get this done, y'all. And thank you to all y'all that's out there listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Great ending. Thanks, Steve.